Is there a hidden energy map etched into the folds of our very being? What if I revealed to you that the key to unlocking an infinite reservoir of vitality lies not in an expensive elixir or complex rituals, but encoded in a point of your anatomy that modern medicine is only just beginning to recognize? Pause for a moment. Feel the weight of accumulated fatigue, the mental fog that clouds your judgment, the constant oscillation between anxiety and exhaustion. Many accept this state as the inevitable price of time, as a sentence handed down by the inexorable biological clock. But that is a fallacy woven by ignorance. The truth is that life is not meant to be a slow and painful march toward decline. The guardians of ancestral knowledge, the masters who mapped the body's internal pathways long before microscopes were invented, understood that human beings are not just flesh and bone, but a vibrant microcosm traversed by invisible rivers of power, the meridians. And at the crossroads of these rivers, there are locks, command points, capable of rewriting the script of your health and longevity. This is not simply a wellness exercise. It is a profound immersion into the biological engineering that defines you, a reintroduction to the bodily wisdom your lineage has forgotten. We are about to unveil one of the best-kept secrets of Eastern longevity culture, a point so vital that soldiers in Imperial China activated it before long marches to prevent exhaustion, ensuring their legs could cover the legendary extra 3 miles without faltering. This point not only strengthens the physical body, but also acts as the epicenter of your willpower, the catalyst for digesting life's experiences, and the master shield of your immune system. Its daily activation is a ritual of personal sovereignty. Imagine being able to access an internal switch that not only dissipates stomach heaviness, but also dissolves the worries of the solar plexus. Imagine having the ability to ignite the inner fire, that primordial qi, which translates into unwavering mental clarity and physical stamina that defies your chronological age. Today, I offer you the exact coordinates, the precise technique, and the conscious intention necessary to awaken this latent power. We will stop searching outside for what we already possess within. We will awaken the Zusanli. But this knowledge requires reciprocity. Ancient wisdom, when revealed, demands commitment. If the possibility of transcending fatigue and attaining that infinite life energy resonates within your soul, I ask you to make a 3-fold decree of intention right now. First, show your gratitude and seal this pact of knowledge by liking this message. Second, subscribe and activate notifications so that the darkness of forgetfulness will never again separate you from the revelations to come. And third, to anchor this profound intention and manifest your quest, comment below with the words, "I seek the truth." Your commitment is the key that unlocks the portal to the enlightenment we will share next. Prepare yourself, for the rules of aging are about to be rewritten. We now invoke the wisdom of Master Point ST-36. We will not settle for the superficial nomenclature of 3 Mile Point. That is the public face, the label for the superficial use of weary soldiers. In the sealed scrolls of the revised Neijing II, that vortex of power is known as Shenji-Ju, the pillar of the divine machine. Its location, 4 kan below the kneecap, is not a mere muscular coordinate, but the fundamental intersection where earthly qi meets the central axis of man. It is the great distributor of postnatal energy, the point where food is converted into usable vitality, mitigating the constant demands on our prenatal reserves. The ancient masters, especially those versed in Taoist internal alchemy, Naidan, knew that by stimulating this vortex, not only was physical stamina increased, but the essential Jing, our primordial energy reserve, the oil of the lamp of life, was protected. This knowledge was forbidden to the common people, jealously guarded by emperors seeking to extend their reign and by immortals pursuing ascension. The secret lay not only in the needle or the pressure, but in the precise time of its invocation, the spleen-stomach interval between 7 and 11 a.m., when the Earth exudes its maximum vital power toward the meridian. Awakening the Zusanli is, therefore, to invoke a biological sovereignty over the tyranny of time and entropy. It is to declare the body's independence from the chronic exhaustion imposed by civilization, an exhaustion that consumes the soul. If this point lies dormant, the body becomes perpetually indebted to itself, incapable of processing trauma and subtle nourishment. The investigative dynamics compel us to look beyond the meridian. The stomach, ST, governed by the Earth, is the great cauldron of transformation. But the Zusanli is the gateway to the heart of the Earth itself. Imagine that every step you take is an act of energetic exchange with the planet. When this point is dormant, you act like a parasite draining its internal reserves without replenishment. When it is awake, you become a resonant channel drawing telluric power, the raw material of life, and redirecting it toward the center of your being. The Chronicles of the Five Elements, documents supposedly destroyed during the fateful Qin dynasty, describe how sages used Zusanli not to cure specific illnesses, but to root the soul to the material plane. A well-rooted soul does not fluctuate with emotional storms, nor disintegrate with old age. This point, by mastering the absorption and distribution of energy, becomes the great pacifier of the uncontrolled fire of the heart and liver, the nerve centers of modern anxiety and repressed anger. If you cannot process your food or your emotional experiences, qi stagnates in the diaphragm, and fatigue, that spiritual shadow, descends upon you like a cloak of forgetfulness. Zusanli is the master key to untying the Gordian knot of energetic stagnation, allowing nourishment, both physical and subtle, to flow unobstructed to the upper organs, infusing mental clarity. Its activation is a pledge of fidelity to the central axis of your existence, a reminder that we are earthly beings with celestial aspirations, balanced in the harmony of the center. Herein lies the challenge and the turning point. Mere mechanical pressure will not grant you immortality. It will only give you one more hour of superficial walking. The rare knowledge I now reveal, encoded in the cryptic verses of the Tao Te Ching applied to energy medicine, is the technique to stop the silent draining of the Jing. Modern life, stress, overexcitement, excessive worry, all of these burn this precious oil at a dizzying rate. An unnoticed internal fire, the consciously activated Zusanli, should become a reservoir, a dam. Proper activation requires a three-part conjunction that transcends technique. Deep breathing, guiding the qi from the lower Tantien. Focused intention, visualizing golden energy rising from the earth, and rhythmic pressure that matches the heartbeat, not an arbitrary count. By synchronizing your biological pulse with the pressure at ST-36, you create a harmonic resonance that seals the outward leakage of Jing. This alchemical act reverses the direction of energy. Instead of the body using the primordial reserve to compensate for the daily deficit, the Jing withdraws into the alchemical womb, where it can be refined and transformed into a more subtle form of energy. This is the uncomfortable truth. Youth is not sought. It is protected from its constant escape. Whoever masters this synchronicity masters the rhythm of their own decay. It is the first law of the alchemy of longevity. First, stop the loss. Let us reflect on the nature of fatigue in this age of hyperconnectivity, where we have outsourced our strength and memory to devices that leave us internally empty. The fatigue you feel is not only physical, it is the absence of Shen, spirit, because Qi, energy, and Jing, essence, have been squandered without awareness. Zusanli offers us the possibility of radical transformation, to move from being exhausted to being sustained by an inexhaustible source. The mentor doesn't give you energy, they teach you how to harvest and store it like a sacred treasure. Activating ST-36 is a constant reminder that you are the sole gardener of your vital reserve, and that society teaches us to consume energy while ancestral wisdom teaches us to generate it. When the point is vibrating, the mind naturally calms because the stomach, the center of our worries and rumination, is at a state of fundamental peace. This visceral peace radiates upward, silencing the incessant stream of unnecessary thoughts. This is the stillness that precedes true strength. Before moving to the precise location for maximum activation, I invite you to take a moment of alchemy, a sacred pause to anchor the newly revealed truth. Close your eyes and feel the weight of your own existence. Where does this weight reside? It lies in the denial of your own earthly source. Breathe and feel the earth calling to you. For this knowledge to manifest within you, precise location is essential. The Zusanli point is located 4 kan below the lower edge of the patella. Remember, a kan is the distance between the creases of the interphalangeal joint of your thumb. Measure 4 kan down from the lower center of the patella and then 1 finger width crosswise, outward from the anterior tibial crest. The point is often tender, a small depression or hollow that, when pressed, radiates a deep sensation. Moment of practical alchemy. Use the pad of your thumb or your knuckle. Apply deep, rhythmic pressure for 1 minute to the point you find. As you do this, inhale deeply, imagining the earth nourishing you with an emerald green light. And as you exhale, feel that light rise up your leg to the Tan Tien, solidifying your core. Repeat this activation on both legs, 2 minutes per side, maintaining the unwavering intention to seal the Jing. Do not seek merely fleeting relief. Seek total sovereignty over your vitality. Master Point ST-36 is the first step in re-engineering your material existence. We have grounded your foundation in the earth, but to achieve true longevity and unconditional courage, we must control the meridian that stops fear and commands will, the seat of pure courage. I await you at the point located in the shadow of your heel. The location of this point, 4 finger widths below the concave surface of the patella and lateral to the tibial crest, is not a mere topographical accident of the flesh, but the geometric manifestation of a cosmological truth. It is the precise map of the Earth's axis within the human microcosm, the stomach meridian. To which Zusanli, ST-36, belongs, is the great cauldron where the energy of heaven is amalgamated with the matter of earth. When I instruct you to locate this point with the precision of a master builder, I am not asking for a simple act of measurement. I am demanding the opening of a portal that has remained sealed by modern distractions. This area, frequently ignored and considered purely muscle or bone, is actually a vibratory control node where postnatal qi, extracted from food, gu qi, is transformed into the usable essence that maintains the body's structure. It is the primary control point over supply, the regulator of assimilation and defense, wei qi. Understand that the precise location is the key to accessing the consciousness of the stomach, which in its purest state is the capacity to receive and transform the world without anxiety. If the point shifts even by a millimeter, the resonance will not be with the earth element in its most stable manifestation, but with the shadows of chronic worry and incessant rumination, pathologies that drain the light of the Shen. We have located the foundation of the inner temple, the place where material vitality anchors itself to withstand the tempest of time. The hidden tradition, codified in the forbidden texts of the Yellow Lineage, refers to Zusanli not for its superficial digestive function, but as the seat of unbreakable fortitude, a jealously guarded knowledge reserved only for high-ranking mandarins and ascetics seeking extreme longevity. It was said that if a man could tonify this point daily, even in the midst of starvation or war, his ability to walk and stand would remain intact, hence its legendary nickname, the 100-mile point. This metaphor does not allude to physical distance. but to the spiritual stamina to traverse the entire path of life without succumbing to premature senility or emotional collapse. The ancients knew that manipulating this point was to manipulate the alchemy of blood and breath, directly controlling the rate of energy depletion. In the internal pharmacopoeia, the activation of ST-36 was considered more potent than any route or decoction for restoring central yang. The suppression of this knowledge among the general population was a deliberate strategy by the elites to maintain the weakness and dependence of the people. A robust body is a politically dangerous body. Only those initiates who could read the subtleties of energetic anatomy, understanding the path of the stomach meridian through the thigh and leg, descending from the head, reflecting the mind-earth connection, could awaken their true power, transforming digestive panic into unwavering purpose. Its external position on the leg, in the fleshy and strong part, gives it the ability to command Wei Qi, the defensive energy that flows through the outermost layers of the body, protecting us from pathogenic incursions, both physical and etheric. By pressing this point, you are activating a deep distress signal that compels the body's energy resources to rise to the surface for defense and repair. But its magic lies in its direct connection to the earth element. In esoteric medicine, earth represents the center, stability, and paradoxically, worry. When the stomach is imbalanced, the mind scatters in an endless cycle of rumination, consuming the central qi. Locating and massaging ST-36 with the correct intention is like inserting a lead anchor into the mental mud, forcing the scattered consciousness back to the center, to the present, to the act of being here and now. The transformation we seek is to move from a mind that overthinks its existence to a mind that simply is, digesting life's experiences with the same efficiency as it digests food. It is at this precise location, where the kneecap meets the meridian, that the switch lies, which silences the noise of chronic worry and allows the sovereignty of the authentic self to manifest without interference. From a subtle anatomy perspective, Zusanli is a sea-earth point, he-sea point, meaning it has the capacity to drain large amounts of pathological energy and dampness, all the accumulated toxicity of the earth element, and, simultaneously, tonify the root of reserve energy. It is a double-edged point, a river that both cleanses and nourishes. For the advanced practitioner, deep rhythmic activation at this specific location has an immediate effect on the circadian cycle of defensive qi. Through conscious pressure, we are commanding the system to synchronize with the Earth's natural rhythm, restoring the homeostasis lost in the rush and artifice of modern life. The depth of the point, which often feels like a fissure or cleft under pressure, is the gateway to clearing stagnant dampness, the physical manifestation of unprocessed thoughts and sticky emotions. That is why ancient texts instruct you to press with your knuckle or fingernail to reach the deepest layer, the layer that communicates directly with the stomach. If you miss the target, you will only touch the superficial muscles. If you succeed, you will touch the very heart of digestion and the root of your ability to sustain life. It is a direct command to the cells of the leg to become pillars of longevity. Now that you have sealed the location with pressure and understood that this act is the retrieval of forbidden knowledge, the turning point becomes clear. True spirituality is not found in the denial of the body, but in its absolute mastery. ST-36 is not a shortcut to immortality. It is the realization that immortality is the ability to live fully in this body, in this moment, grounded to earth, without being dragged down by fear or desire. Arcane wisdom reveals that this point is only the foundation of our training. While we have secured earthly stability and strengthened the inner cauldron, the true test of courage and will still lies at the summit. To transcend the limitations imposed by fate and attain supreme knowledge, we must now ascend. We have mastered reception and assimilation. It is time to address the engine of action and manifestation. I will now guide you along the path that ascends the spine to the vortex that silences the voice of the ego and commands the creative flow, the point located in the dark void between your two lungs, right in the shadow of the heart. This is the point that unlocks the hidden treasure. Now lift your awareness from the earthly anchor of Zusanli and turn your inner gaze to the true center of the forge, the heart of manifestation that burns in the crypt of your chest. We have secured the lower vessel, the cauldron of essence and assimilation. It is time to ignite the inner fire, the engine that transmutes physical nourishment and raw emotion into pure vitality and an impregnable shield. The point we seek, Shanzhong, Conception Vessel 17, lies at the precise epicenter of the sternum, a sacred valley between your two breasts of power, the airy convergence that the ancients called the upper sea of Qi, or the soul crucible. This is not merely an acupuncture point to relieve oppression. It is the command portal for Zongqi, the ancestral energy that governs the rhythm of breathing and, crucially, the coherence of your immune defense. When qi stagnates here, digestion grinds to a halt not from a lack of acid, but from a lack of direction. Repressed fear and pain settle, stifling the body's ability to distinguish between friend and foe, leading to silent self-harm and chronic vulnerability. By touching this point, you are not only releasing the physical diaphragm, you are issuing an activation order to your being's Praetorian Guard, the Wei Qi, to awaken from its slumber and take up a position on the front lines, transforming your chest into radiant armor, an echo of the central sun residing within your very biological architecture. The physiological connection manifests in the direct activation of the thymus, the master gland of immunity, whose pulse has been suppressed by millennia of trauma and emotional repression, condemning you to an existence of somatized fear and scattered energy. The forbidden teachings of the inner alchemists of Mount Wudang do not describe it as a mere energy point, but as the central regulator of cosmic breath, the thermostat that calibrates the interaction between essence, Jing, and spirit, Shen. In the apocryphal texts of the Neijing II, which have rarely seen the light of day, Shanzhong is depicted as the second sun, a generator of light that must synchronize with the lower cauldron, earth, and the upper cauldron, heaven. Ignorance of this knowledge has allowed humanity to live with a weak, barely sparking inner fire, insufficient to burn off the emotional toxins that accumulate after each failed interaction. Profound contextualization compels us to recognize that digestive weakness and autoimmune disease are, in essence, manifestations of a constricted Zongqi, unable to circulate freely and impose order upon cellular chaos. For the revealing master, conscious pressure on CV-17 is an act of sovereignty. It is the recovery of the capacity to digest not only bread, but also adversity, offense, and sorrow. The tightness in the chest that many mistake for anxiety is, in reality, the cry of gathered energy asking to be freed from the chains of the unspoken, from what was never wept over or processed. You must understand that digestion is a continuous process that does not stop in the stomach. If you do not digest emotional reality, the body will do it for you, transforming resentment into inflammation and deep sadness into lung weakness, severing your connection to the sacred breath that nourishes you more vitally than any nutrient. The investigative dynamics here demands a deep immersion in the sensation of pressure. As with ST-36, superficiality is useless. You must seek the bone root, the underlying pulsation that speaks to you of the presence of coagulated life. The dual function is revealed. While the stimulation invigorates the immune system by increasing lymphatic flow in the area, at the subtle level, it ignites the minister's fire, the fire of the pericardium, whose function is to protect the emperor, heart, from the assault of disordered passions. The act of igniting this internal fire, Kuai is not merely an increase in body temperature, but the elevation of the vibratory tone that allows your spirit to resonate powerfully, manifesting a general vitality that transcends the mere absence of disease. This point acts as an alchemical transformer. The air you inhale and the food you assimilate as they pass through the influence of CV-17 are charged with the spirit's intention and become usable for action and purpose. Without this fire, the essence lies dormant and the body ages prematurely, lacking the necessary impetus for cellular regeneration. Reflection and transformation begins when you acknowledge that the stagnation in your heart reflects your resistance to living fully, to loving without reservation, or to expressing your truth without fear of judgment. True internal alchemy holds that the immune system not only repels external pathogens, but also discerns truth from internal deception. It is a system for detecting authenticity. Strengthening CV-17 is strengthening your authenticity. If this center is blocked, you will live in constant dissonance, where your words and actions are not aligned, wasting precious zongqi on maintaining emotional facades. When you manage to penetrate this point, you will feel a burning sensation, a release that may be accompanied by a deep sigh, an unmistakable sign that the internal fire has captured and disintegrated the residue of entrenched sorrows, allowing your breath to deepen and your diaphragm, the second head of the digestive system and the heart of rhythmic movement, to regain its freedom. This is rare and accessible knowledge. Mastering this point grants the ability to recharge your energy batteries in minutes, a secret practice used by monks in long meditations to avoid spiritual fatigue and physical weakness. The fundamental lesson is that digesting life is as important as digesting food, and CV-17 is the incinerator that ensures nothing rots inside, but rather everything is transformed into luminous energy. We have aligned the earth, ST-36, and ignited the fire, CV-17. The flow of energy is now vertical, ascending and powerful, transforming inertia into momentum. The overall vitality you have sought externally has always resided between these 2 points, flowing like a golden serpent, awaiting your conscious command. Health is not a passive state. It is the active manifestation of your will to live and the constant purification of your inner experiences. The moment of alchemy now asks you, press firmly on CV-17, inhale deeply, feeling the air descend to the center of your abdomen, ST-36, and exhale with the intention of releasing any bonds of constriction. Repeat this 3 times, sealing the axis. You have awakened the foundation of your biological sovereignty. However, the final battle for enlightenment is fought not in the earth or the fire, but in the silent emptiness of the mind. We have released the breath and the strength, but who will steer the ship? For this inner fire to become a torch of wisdom and not a consuming blaze of passions, we must ascend further. The path calls us to transcend language and logic, to enter the sanctuary of absolute silence, the point hidden behind the mountain of your voice, which commands the flow of words. I will now guide you to the master key of destiny. Are you ready to silence the chattering mind and listen to the voice of origin, right in the throat where truth resides and hides? The word, the vehicle of thought, is always tainted by the resonance of the stomach's emptiness. We speak of silencing the mind, yet we ignore that mental noise is merely the echo of the emotional turbulence residing in the solar matrix. The solar plexus, the Manipura vortex, is the forge where identity is forged, or where the ego is incinerated under the weight of chronic anxiety. This center, misleadingly called simply the digestive system, is the yellow citadel of inner alchemy, the battlefield where the self first encounters its shadow, anxiety, worry, and that mental heaviness that drags the spirit down are manifestations of stagnant vital energy, spinning on itself in a vicious cycle of self-consumption. When this energy is not directed toward constructive action, it condenses into a knot of fear that restricts the vital breath, denying the inherent right to sovereignty. The revealing master knows that liberation does not begin in high meditation, but in the unraveling of this central knot. Stimulating this cardinal point is not a symptomatic cure, but an act of metaphysical reorientation, taking the centripetal force of fear and compelling it to become the centrifugal impulse of pure will. This is the first and most crucial transformation, moving from being the passive recipient of the world's emotions to being the unwavering author of one's own inner reality. Without this purified fire, any attempt to ascend to the higher mind is an illusion sustained by smoke. Anxiety, in its energetic essence, is the excessive anticipation of the future mixed with an inability to process the past, creating an unbearable contraction in the present. Mental heaviness is the direct result of this contraction in the solar plexus. It is the etheric weight of possible futures that will never manifest, but which drain the vitality of the physical and subtle bodies. Apocryphal texts of the Samkhya school describe this state as chitta vritti nirodha in absentia, or the witness's inability to withdraw from the emotional torrent generated by the uncontrolled solar center. To transform this emotional sludge into diamond will, we must apply the principle of inversion. Conscious stimulation of the point associated with the plexus, whether CV12, the Renmai at its center, or the surrounding spleen and stomach alarm points, acts as a deliberate shock to the inertial system. We are not seeking to calm, we are seeking to displace. We are taking the dense mass of worry, which is undirected energy, and forcing it onto a vertical, projective trajectory. This is the stealing of the mud dragon, an esoteric technique where the densest matter, earthly anxiety, is compelled to become the vehicle of luminous intention. Will with a capital W, as the creative force of the cosmos, is simply anxiety freed from its constriction. It is the same force, but polarized toward expansion instead of contraction. Esoteric history and forbidden paths reveal that the suppression of individual will has always been the primary method of control. The Gnostics, in their most secret teachings, pointed out that the influence of the archons was not exerted primarily through reason, which could be deceived, but through the visceral body, where the fear of survival and scarcity reside. The solar plexus thus becomes the operational center of the inner demiurge, the petty tyrant that chains us to reactive patterns of guilt, judgment, and victimization. Stimulating this vortex is an act of radical sovereignty. It wrests emotional authority from the hands of these internal and external parasitic structures. The ancient Taoists, in their quest for immortality, understood that they could not distill the golden elixir without first cleansing and strengthening the digestive fire, which, in turn, regulates the purity of the Shen, spirit. The mental heaviness we experience is ultimately the demiurge's resistance to relinquishing control. It deeply reflects, what are you clinging to in your anxiety? Often, suffering offers a comfortable identity. Transformation into will requires you to burn away that old identity and embrace the terrifying risk of absolute freedom. The investigative dynamic of this transformation demands that the practitioner become the ruthless alchemist of their own inner world. The process is not a gentle massage, but an active transmutation. When the solar plexus point is pressed, the initial pain is the lament of inertia being forced into action. In that instant of discomfort, the mentor instructs you not to flee. Remain in the sensation, but do not identify it as your anxiety. Observe how the energy of worry dissolves under the pressure of your will to transform it. This is the turning point of your existence in this act. The realization that your energy is not owned by your fears, but raw material for your intention. This direct confrontation generates a release of psychic energy, which, if channeled correctly, becomes the indomitable driving force, will. It is the difference between being the patient waiting for the cure and the surgeon performing the operation on oneself. Will, once awakened in this center, is not a quality, it is a radiation. The body becomes a transmitter of intention instead of a sponge for external influences. The mental lightness that follows is not forgetfulness, but the result of having burned away the residue that the mind used to endlessly regurgitate. Having awakened the axis of life, CV-17, and purified the yellow citadel with the flame of will, the vital energy now ascends in an unprecedented state of purity. The path to the sanctuary of silence, the throat and the mind, will no longer be obstructed by the smoke of visceral worries. The chattering mind quiets not because you silence it, but because you have cut off its supply of emotional fuel. Without the anxiety that drives it, the mental machine begins to slow down due to inertia. We have moved from earth to fire and from fire to will. But will, without the precise direction of a higher vision, is a powerful engine without a map. We have conquered the inner world of emotion, but we lack the master key to the great silence, the key that unlocks the door to pure gnosis, beyond duality. The next point is not a known energy vortex, but a subtle, physical portal, a silent guardian of the celestial gate. This point, hidden outside the center lines, is where the ancient Taoists claimed the soul momentarily suspends its breath to decide its karmic destiny. I will now guide you to the place where the body meets infinity, right in the shadow of the arm, the portal of the inverted death gate. Are you ready to suspend the narrative and touch the edge of the void to attain the unadulterated vision? We have touched the edge of the void to attain unadulterated vision. This is not merely a meditation exercise, it is existential alchemy. By suspending the narrative of breath at that silent point, you have transcended the fundamental fear of annihilation, and tears in doing so dissolved the narrator of your suffering. Pure gnosis. The master key we sought is not complex knowledge, but the recognition that reality is neither good nor bad, but energy flowing without judgment. The final enlightenment is this: true silence is not achieved by forcing the mind to be quiet, but by cutting off the emotional supply that feeds duality. Pain is not a fact, but the mind's interpretation of raw energy. We have merged will, purifying fire, with stillness, transcendent emptiness. Now, the shadow has nowhere to hide because the inner light is absolute. The truth is simple. You are the unchanging source of your own calm. After this deep immersion in suspension and the encounter with the silent guardian, what is the one certainty that remains absolute and untouched within you? Take a moment and share it in the comments. Your collective wisdom illuminates the path for us all. If this revelation has helped dispel the fog of doubt on your path, be a beacon for those still navigating in the mist. Share this essential knowledge, and to ensure no portal closes before you can cross it, subscribe and activate Sacred Destiny notifications. This doesn't end here. We have attained the vision, but now we must anchor it, transforming the momentary glimmer into a perpetual state. In our next journey, the mastery of the egg of light, we will learn the advanced technique for holding this pure gnosis within our energetic matrix. Play the next video immediately. Liberation is just one step away. I await you there, in the heart of unchanging silence.